Richard, what you got? You said you had a bit of software to share. Is that right?
Yeah, so obviously we're talking creators and things, but you've already alluded to the fact sometimes we, as the creator, the person on camera or behind the microphone, is not the one that then actually does the editing and the production
Yeah.
and the promotion and all of that jazz that goes with it. Certainly, if it was left up to me, as you know, Colin, all of this great content that I create would end up gathering virtual dust. That's why I've got Team Tub and they produce it and publish it and promote it and everything. But to get the consistency in place there is the challenge, and that's where checklists come into it. And so we use a tool called Manifestly. Manifestly, it's very simple. It is a checklist tool. But what it does for checklists is like you can either use checklists really simply, or you can go into the depth with checklists and have nested checklists and checklists that are kicked off by date. But the bottom line here is it enables the entire team to work collaboratively on a set process that we've put in place for producing podcasts, producing videos, even blog posts. It's just the little things that you can miss out. So I'll give you a great example. Producing a podcast, for instance, the naming structure or the numbering of the podcast episodes, it's really easy to go, is it episode 003? Is it episode 3? Is it series 4, episode 3? What's it look like? So the checklist that we've got in place in Manifestly enable us to just say with screenshots and with text and all sorts of things to say, this is how you do it. And so for every piece of work within our business that is repeated, we end up creating a Manifestly, or Manny, as we call it within the team, checklist to do it. And so it grows over time. And it means if you've got people coming, perhaps leave the team and somebody else joins, there's not that bit where you have to say, oh, right, let me show you in painstaking detail how to do it, what are the gotchas and all the rest of it. And so we use it extensively within our business. I'd say it's like, a major tool. Now, I'm aware there are other tools, there's ClickUp, there's Notion, heck, there's even Evernote and, OneNote and things of those nature that can be used for doing checklists. But what we found is Manifestly is really, really good if you're building a business that is all about consistently producing, high quality work. And so Manifestly for me is like the king of the checklist tools. We've used it for years and years now. And the Manifestly team, Jacob, we were saying earlier, these organizations or these businesses start out small and then, it grows, the tool gets out of control and they start charging accordingly. The Manifestly team, we've always found really, really responsive, to our needs. They're a small, tight-knit team, but they just do really good work. So, king of checklists.
Awesome. Just like a playbook, like a sort of interactive. Yeah. That's really, really cool. It's not what I thought it was. I thought it was just yet another to-do list app. There's an acronym.
No, it really isn't. And that's the thing. We can all, you can just pick up a pen and paper, can't you, and start creating to-do lists. But it's really not. It's a repeatable process, for a checklist for doing things again and again.
Yeah,
that's really so cool. Great. Yeah, like SOPs, I've tried to put a lot of work into in the past. Just try and have them there ready for anyone else to use, but they just go out of date so easily if you end up with them in Notion and stuff like that. If you're not really using them actively, I don't know. That's how I always found. So does this help Notion you keep them up to date more because they're there?
Yeah, and the entire team have got the ability to jump in and to update any of the workflows because, as you say, standard operating procedures. It was big for me when I ran the IT business. IT is very much built about consistency and doing things to a high quality again and again. So when I started this business now and started getting into taking content creation seriously, the ability to actually have a standard operating procedure that you can put screenshots in, that you can put notes in, that you can put links to documents in, that you can put all sorts of things. It just enables people to get things done. And we use it for the content creation, but we use it for all aspects of the business. So, if we've got a tax return that needs doing or an invoice that needs raising, whatever it might be, anything that's going to be done again and again and again repeatedly, we end up creating a Manifestly checklist for. And out of the box, they give you loads of different checklists that you can use You can see some of the ones on screen there. Employee onboarding, we use it for that.
Yeah.
But if you've got any business where you need to do things consistently, repeatably to a high level, Manifestly is a really good tool.
Yeah.
That's great.
Just a small point on, you mentioned like Notion and ClickUp and all these tools can do the same. I am increasingly over time a huge advocate for the right tool for the job.
Agreed.
Just because they can do it doesn't mean that, and even if they can replicate 99% of the functionality, I find Notion to be a black hole of hopes and dreams. Having one place where you can go, and you know that all that's in there is this type of work. You have time in your day that you've set aside to do work in there. Like, I don't know. I think there's not enough stock put in sort of people's brain space and context. You know, if I'm going into something like Manifestly, I know what it is that I'm going to be working. I'm going to be working on process, so I get myself into that mindset. But there's going to be all these little details as well, and I will try it out to see what they are. I've not tried it yet. But yeah, big advocate for the right tool for the job. Like we had a bit of software called Timetastic, and that was for managing folks' time off. We switched to another bit of software called People HR or something like that. I think that's what it's called, and it does everything. It does all the HR things that we need for the kind of size of the company that we are. Arguably a bit too much, but it now takes, like, it's just not the main thing that our employees go in there and use it for is for taking time off, and it takes ages and it takes too many clicks. Timetastic, it was like one click. I could really easily see what my holidays are. I can see when the rest of the team's off. It was the perfect tool for that job, and I'm always going to be better that we got rid of it. So yeah, right tool for the right job, always and where possible.
I couldn't agree with you more. We use we're talking about Notion, ClickUp. We migrated from ClickUp to a brilliant project management tool called Blue. Blue.cc. Really, really good. And actually, it's got the facility within it probably to build checklists and to do all of that stuff, you know. And Lenka, our operations manager, and no doubt will be watching this, and she was like, we should think about moving from Manifestly to Blue to have everything in one place. And I'm like, I'm not, saying no. However, for all the reasons you just mentioned, it's like, if you want to get into the zone of just following a process, I think there's a lot of value to be had in saying, right, I'm going to that tool to do that job, and then change your headspace into being a creator or whatever it might be afterwards. So
yeah, agree.